Yo, what's poppin', guys? It's your boy Offline Nuzlocke, your coach of the Ultraspace Umbreons, and today we are here for our first ever draft recap. So I joined the APL, told you guys in the channel update last week. So if you want to go watch that, do that quick. But yeah, so we're in the APL and we had 115 points to grab from 9 to 11 Pokemons and have two Terra captains. So those were the rules for our teams, and we had a whole point tiering system, which I'll leave the doc in the comments below if you guys want to check it out. And yeah, let's get into the team that I drafted. So, if you guys don't know how drafting works in a draft league, basically you have like 8 to 16 coaches and they all take turns to draft a Pokemon each. And then usually it's like a circular draft or a snake style draft. The circular draft is like you just go rotate like 1 to 16 and then 1 to 16. But this was a snake style draft, which was 1 to 16 and then 16 back to 1. So, I had the round 10th pick. So I was pretty late in the draft and I was looking around mons that I kind of wanted to build around things like Hisuian Samurott or something like that. But then this mon caught my eye. We have Annihilate on the team. Now, I did have the option to Terra it, but I decided not to Terra it. But I think round one Annihilate is so fire because you get your grass and fighting type. And if you guys don't know about Rage Fist, I mean, that move is literally broken. So I think like round one, picking Annihilate was the best way to go to shape my draft because I can build a team around Annihilate very easily, and it gives me a great wall breaker. And also, like, it has a pretty good defense stat. So, like, I can run defensive or specially defensive if I want to. And it's pretty good on the speed tier too. And it gives me a mon that I could really, like, have some fun with. Also, looking at Annihilate, you also get two immunities right off the bat for my team, which is a normal type immunity and a fighting type immunity. So if I build around the Mons in the later of the draft, like this is a great Mon to pick up right off the bat. Up next for round two, I grab myself a Gliscor. That's right, we're going back to Gen 4 OU. Now, this Mon paired with Annihilate just goes hard because, like, you build an electric immunity and you also have that ground immunity for yourself. So I'm just like basing off of immunities right here. I'm like, can I get some immunities and also build around like, few mons and few pieces to see how the team builds out, right? And like having 10th pick overall, I'm like, I kind of want to be a round ahead for each uh, mon that I draft, so I don't get sniped. Which I did get sniped a couple times, so I had to really change my plans around. But it wasn't that bad. And also, Gliscor with that 4 times immunity to ice, I can make up with Annihilate because Annihilate like doesn't care about ice moves that much. I mean, it's neutral. Who cares? And some of the mons later patch up my ice weakness too. But this was a great mon. Also, Gliscor gives me rocks, spikes, and it also gives me a great defensive backbone to the team with that poison heal ability. So I think it's a worth it round to pick. Up next, I go ahead and grab myself a Alolan Ninetales. That's right, I'm bringing the Foxy back. Um, well, I do a lot of competitive Pokemon right off, like off of the channel. That's why I'm saying I'm bringing this mon back because like I love using Alolan Ninetales. I've helped coaches who have drafted Alolan Ninetales in the past, and it puts in work. And we get Aurora Whale for free. Like literally, you just come in, click Aurora Whale, and now your damage is literally halved. Like, come on, it's like a really good mon. Also, Alolan Ninetales gives me snow if I ever want to go for a snow team, and it also gives me an immunity to dragon type moves, so that's another immunity, and it gives me a really good specially defensive mon to pair with Annihilate. So I'm trying to go from all around the corner. Like I'm thinking about the synergy between the team members and trying to get all my types in and making sure I have a decent speed tier because that's everything in draft. Like you got to build your team around all the crazy Pokemon that are allowed, and then make sure like yours is decent enough to take on the task of defeating the other teams. And I think Alolan Ninetales literally stands up to the standard because like I can baton pass if I ever want to, like after setting whale, and it just gives me a lot of different options. Up next, I make sure and grab Hoopa Unbound. Now, this is the mon I drafted in the grace period. Like, I had some other mons. I had two mons that I dropped in the grace period, and I'm not going to talk about them because I dropped them. But basically, I saw Hoopa Unbound in the grace period. I'm like, this mon is literally broken. Like, its only weakness is times 4 to bug, and I can patch that up with Terra. And it has crazy offensive stats. It has 170 special attack and 160 attack. This mon literally will break teams apart. And I decided to go Terra on this mon because we have a high tier Terraing allowed. So some mons are allowed to Terra when they're in the high tiers, but we also have a Terra tag, so they are taxed really heavily. So my Hoopa Unbound, like, it had like 3 or 4 extra points just to Terra, and that's a lot compared to the other Terra mons. But I decided to go ahead and grab Hoopa Unbound because like Terra Hoopa Unbound under Will just seems nasty, and I wanted to keep building that synergy. And Hoopa Unbound also gives me another immunity to psychic type moves, which will be coming to Prime Annihilate, and that's just like building on the team synergy. I wanted to grab another offensive mon who could be specially or physically attacking, and I think this was the perfect fit. I mean, with Terra, I can just blow teams apart and then have somebody like Annihilate come in and clean up. I also have Gliscor for that defensive backbone of the team, and Annihilate to take the special hits that are coming towards Hoopa Unbound. So I think this was a great addition in the grace period. I'm like, I want to make my team even more scarier, and I saw Hoopa Unbound, and I'm like, I found my piece. Let me grab that boy really quickly. Up next for our round 5 pick, I decided to grab Galvantula. Now, this was another mon that I picked up during Grace. So the grace period is basically like you get free unlimited transactions, but you have 24 hours to make changes to your team. And my Terra Captain that I had before was an electric type, so I'm like, all right, I gotta patch that quick, and I decided to grab Galvantula. Now, here's the thing about Galvantula, right? You get sticky webs right off the bat. Like, you lead Galvantula, you're getting webs up. Everybody knows you're getting webs up, but it also has Thunder. Compound Eyes Thunder hits hard, and also I get Volt Turn because I have Volt Switch or U-Turn with Galvantula. I can go in something like Gliscor, take a hit, and I can just get damage, chip damage based off the Volt Turn core. So I also wanted to build the Volt Turn core, and this gives me that Volt Turn core, which was great. It also gives me a specially offensive mon. Even though I had Hoopa, I'm like, let me grab another one, why not? It gives me a bug type Pokemon, which I didn't have before, sticky webs, all that good stuff. And I can also run a choice spec sometimes. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to not unveil a lot of strategies in that draft, but I also gotta tell you guys how much like work they put in, and that's why I picked up Galvantula. It also has some resistances to like electric, grass, and like fighting type moves, which can come in towards my team somehow, as you'll see in the later end of the draft. And I thought Galvantula was a great patch up for that, and that's why I picked up Galvantula. Next up for my round 6 pick, I picked up Dragology. Now, when I looked at Dragology, I'm like, dude, why has this not gone on round 6? I guess it was on nobody's radar, but I picked up Dragology. I'm like, I had plans to pick up Dragology when I picked up Ninetales because I'm like, Dragology is a great poison type. I can absorb T-Spikes right off the bat. It is a great dragon type because it hits hard. It has a great special defense. It can kind of run physically if you want to, but it is a great toxic spike absorber, and I can take some hits coming from the other side of the team. Like if I need a good switching, Dragology is it. I also get adaptability, Draco Meteor, and adaptability Sludge Bomb. That will hit hard. And it also gives me my dragon for that Fairy Dragon Steel Core. If you guys don't know, there's two types of cores in drafts. It's a Fairy Dragon Steel Core and a Fire Water Grass Core. And I'm trying to build up both of my cores in this draft. So I'm like, all right, I'll make sure and grab Dragology, fill that patch up, get my Toxic Spikes Absorber, and that is why I chose Dragology. Now, round 7, I pick up Manaphy. This mon was sitting there till round 7. Here's the crazy thing about it. Take Heart is not banned in the league. I'm like, Manaphy, round 7 is a crazy pick. Like, who would keep Manaphy till round 7? And they know Take Heart isn't bad. Now, I did push Manaphy back some rounds because, like, a lot of team had grabbed water types already. Like, Empoleon was gone. Other crazy water types were gone. So I'm like, all right, I mean, I can hold, like, Palafin was gone. So I'm like, I wanted to grab Palafin, but that was gone like round 1 before it even got to my pick. So I'm like, all right, I'll grab Manaphy because Manaphy is kind of insane with Take Heart. And I also get Tail Glow under Whale. And that just sounds too broken. My team, I really like after the grace period because, like, Manaphy under Whale, Hoopa Unbound under Whale. We have Sticky Webs on the field. We got Gliscor. Like, we got Annihilate. Like, there's too many pieces. I could bring in, like, combination of all my 11 mons every week, and they will put in work. I guarantee you that. And Manaphy just gives me the best Pokemon to do that because it's base 100 all across the board, and it gives me a mon that I can rely on however I want. So I grabbed Manaphy and I'm like, this is a great water type for my Fire Water Grass core. It's the start of my core. I have to make an impact with my core, and that's why I picked up Manaphy. Up next, I make sure to grab Terra, Alolan, Sandslash. Now, if I'm grabbing Ninetales, it's obvious I'm gonna grab an Ice type who benefits from that snow. It gives you a defense boost, which is, I think, +1 in this generation. And I'm like, all right, let me just grab a defensive mon, make it even more defensive, and let me give Terra quick. Just because Gen 7 Ice Core was insane, and we're gonna bring it back in Gen 9. That's right. We give it Terra. We grab Alolan Sandslash. We get Rapid Spin too if we need to take care of hazards quick some weeks. And we also get a Snow Sweeper. I'm like, all right. I also want to quickly shout out Pyro. My boy Pyro said, why are you not grabbing a Ice Sweeper? I'm like, yeah, I didn't have plans to grab one, but I guess I can. So I did. And that was like the best decision. He tried to trade me for it, but I'm not giving this up because this is insane. Like, this mon fits really well with my team. I have Gliscor to take, the immunity earthquakes if I really need to some weeks. I have my Annihilate to just eat those fighting moves that come in the way of Sandslash. I have a really good synergy going on with Sandslash and Ninetales for that Snow Core. And it gives me my second Terra Captain. So what I did was I was trying to see if I want to Terra 2 high tiers and grab like a mediocre team, because like if you tier 2 high Terras, like you would not have that many points left. And I was kind of thinking about that, but I'm like, if I Terra my Snow Sweeper and a high Terramon, I feel like my team is gonna be much more powerful than having like 2 high tier Terras and then having like a mediocre like other rest of Philip spots kind of Pokemon. So I went ahead and grabbed a Alolan Sandslash with Terra. This mon is great. It will put in a lot of work, and I believe in the Sandslash. And the last note about Sandslash is Sandslash gives me that Steel type in my Dragon Fairy Steel core, and my Dragon Fairy Steel core is also a Snow core. So that fits in really well. I think that synergy is great, and I plan to utilize that as much as I can and even break the meta a little bit because some people think snow is hard to pull off, but it's really fun to play. So I'm gonna try and make this work, and let's see how Sand Slash does. Up next, I go ahead and grab Talonflame. Now, Talonflame was nerfed heavily in this last few generation, but I believe in my boy Talonflame. Talonflame gives me a fire type to try and complete my water, fire, grass. And it also gives me another flying type, which gives me a ground immunity. It has that weakness to 4 times weakness to rock, but like I really don't care about 4 times weaknesses when I can like either resist it or find an immunity for it. So I can play around weaknesses. Everybody's gonna have weaknesses, but that's not gonna deter me from taking them on. Especially something like Talonflame, you get priority Gale Wings, and still like the first move, if you're not hit, that's gonna hit hard. And the other ability in Flame Body also helps me to potentially burn something and deter it from doing much more damage. And the last thing is Talonflame gives me a really good speed tier mon that I can rely on to come in and outspeed something if I really need to. So that's why I picked Talonflame. Up next, I go ahead and grab my boy Giraffe. Farigiraf is making its way on the squad. This thing was sitting right there staring at me, and I'm like, I pick you, Farigiraf. So I have done some work with Farigiraf in the past, with like Terra Farigiraf on this channel, which was kind of nice. But Farigiraf gives me a Wish Passer. It also gives me a utility mon that I can use to just deter opponents really nicely. It can sit and take some hits. It gets something like Sap Zipper, so if I want an immunity, I can have that Sap Zipper immunity. It is also immune to ghost type moves that might come Annihilap's way. You know, just a little bit more synergy for my team and gives me a normal type that I can rely on quite nicely. It also doesn't have that many weaknesses aside from like Bug and Dark, so it's a really good neutral mon to grab and fill out some of the pores on my team. I think Farigiraf is gonna put in a lot of work that people might not expect to. Last but not the least, I made sure to grab my little fluff ball. I'm picking Cottony as our final pick. Cottony, first of all, fills out my water, fire, grass core, and this mon is a sleeper. You guys are like, offline, why are you talking about Cottony? Like, you're never gonna bring it to the regular season. Oh, trust me, I will. Literally, Cottony, even though it's a baby mon, should not be looked at that because it was a 1 pointer, first of all, which it should be at least 2 points. Just saying, maybe for future seasons. But this mon has Prankster and Chlorophyll. Like, you can put in work. Even in a league like this with like crazy like Urshifu terrain or like Latias terrain, I feel like Cottony has potential. I'm not gonna talk about it because I'll show you guys how to do that. But Cottony is a great mon. I've used Whimsicott before. I'm like, I don't have points for the Whimsicott, and Whimsicott's already taken. So I'm gonna grab myself Cottony and see how it fares out. And I believe in Cottony. I feel like Cottony's gonna put in a lot of work that people are not gonna think of. Same thing as Farigiraf, but this mon is a valuable bring for me. And looking at the final team for the Ultraspace Umbreons, I like it. Overall, I'm really happy with the way I drafted. First of all, my draft was not as good in before the grace period changes, and I can agree to that because once I saw Farigiraf and Cottony to fill out some of the holes that I had, I'm like, I like it. And also Hoopa Unbound, just like crazy addition in the grace period. Like went from a 8 team to like a 10 team in my opinion. I feel like this is a really good draft. It's really well rounded. 10 is kind of a high score, but I like setting expectations. I literally put in so many hours to try and round out this team, and I feel like it's great synergy. Let me know what you guys think about this team in the comments below. Also, hit the subscribe button if you guys are excited for some draft content on this channel. And yeah, I will be playing in the Storm division, which is their highest skill division. I actually signed up for the Wave division, which was like their second highest. I'm like, I'm not that good. But they're like, we're putting you in the Storm division. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I mean, I don't have an option. I want to play Draft League. So that's what happened. But I hope you guys are excited. If you are, make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let us get to 1K this year. I'm getting there without you or with you. But that's all I have for the Ultraspace Umbreon fans. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Offline Squad.